Good evening. What's up, y'all? How's it going? PayPal earnings tomorrow. What do I think? We'll talk about that here in just a moment. Give me 1 second. All right. Hotter thoughts. Christian, it's fine with me. um, what's up, y'all? Gonna go ahead and share this link one more time in the Discord, and we're gonna go ahead and get started with the recap. So I have made a mistake here. Unfortunately, guys, I am not gonna be taking any requests um at the moment for the top chat or for YouTube. So I'm not taking any requests tonight, guys. Just focused on the Discord. And we'll get back to the swing of things probably tomorrow night's live. So leave your request here. If you guys are in the Discord, make sure to leave your request in the actual live trading chat. We're just focused on you guys tonight as far as getting your tickers, your questions, and stuff like that focused on. So please feel free to drop those requests or any questions that you have, period. So, um, all right, cool. Carrie, DM those to me. DM. If you have a request, maybe, well, we'll see. You could do it in depth on SPY when you get a chance. All right. Well, you shouldn't have to go back. I'll answer your question as soon as we get there. So I'm going to go ahead and steer over to the news. And we're going to go over today's moves and where we could be heading here for the remainder of the week. Does anybody here trade Forex? Not me. I do not. So. All right. So green across the entire board. If you go over here to the heat map, you'll notice that we, oops, are pretty much in a sea of green here. Almost all sectors lifting up. We saw consumer or non-durables kind of lagging behind, and then the health sector, we had some big losers there. But other than that, saw some pretty. No, not live in the Discord. Just yeah. If you're a premium member, just leave your comments here. So anyway, we saw the S&P up 1.89%, the Nasdaq up 3.41%, the Russell up 3.0 or 3.5%, and the Dow Jones up 1.17%. So we saw all major ETFs moving to the upside. Financials up 0.89%, materials moved about 1.44%, and the communication services actually moved about 2.4%. Um, so let's see here. We saw in major news, a lot of you guys shared that today, Sony, which got halted today, the company behind the world's most popular gaming console, is buying a industry name synonymous with its closest rival. Sony is buying Bungie, a former Microsoft subsidiary, for $3.6 billion. Bungie is the studio behind the world famous Halo and Destiny franchises. The company developed Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3, and Halo Reach. So we saw Destiny come from them as well. And let's see. I'm kind of skipping over a couple of things that not really super duper important. Investors appear to like the deal, unlike Microsoft's controversial acquisition of Activision. This deal is nearly almost a slam dunk. So you're probably going to see Sony making its way gapping up here. That's kind of how Sony likes to move. So, what's up, y'all? How's it going? If you guys are digging the video, make sure to leave a like. Appreciate it. All right. So, oh man, what a day, what a day, what a day. So we're gonna go over a couple of things. Of course, we have to go over the economic calendar for tomorrow, February 1st. So happy February to everybody. It's the first month of 2022. And we're already done with it, which is kind of crazy because I feel like it just started, but also took forever. So we got JOLTS. We've got construction spending, ISM manufacturing index. So we might see the Dow get affected. And as far as earnings are concerned, big ones moving in here today. So we got AMD, Starbucks, Google, PayPal, Exxon, Guild, GM, EA Sports, UPS, MicroStrategy, SMG. Don't sleep on them. They're actually a pretty interesting company. They do a lot of cannabis stuff now. But yeah, so a lot of big companies coming in. We also have a lot of bigger companies moving in into Wednesday. So we also we got a lot of volatility combined with the rest of the week and the economic calendar. February 3rd and 4th, both chock full of high impact data. So we saw the NXP Semiconductor, the semiconductor conductor company, reported earnings today, beating analyst estimates. The company also authorized a 2 billion share repurchase program, which is kind of wild, but that's pretty cool. The good word sent NXP up to 8.4%. It faltered slightly in after hours trading. We saw Spotify. Spotify recovered the tune of double digits after the company acknowledged the Spotify Exodius committing to added content warning for podcast and content related to the COVID-19 pandemic. Joe Rogan also issued an apology to people who were offended by his comments. Spotify was upgraded by analysts. Man, what a coincidence. That's really, really funny. So, of course, you guys can't forget Tesla up 10.6% today. Netflix 11%, and Beyond Meat 15%. So all three of those were upgraded this morning. So upgraded stocks, which is something that I've actually been leaving and failing to cover in the morning, is something that I'm going to be covering in the morning in the future, so that way we can kind of see where analysts have their eyes peeled. So other than that, guys, that's about it as far as the recap. Now, of course, we got to talk about Macy's. We got to talk about Disney. We got to talk about Lee Auto, because all three have been a pain in my ass. Macy's especially, but I wanna cover my sentiment and thoughts on Macy's going into tomorrow. So with Macy's, and I'll go full screen here because these will be on my watch list tomorrow. The overall setup on the daily, and I've kind of looked at this on the weekly as well. I really wanted to see where we were truly at on the chart. It did look like we were close to forming tweezer bottoms for Macy's to the downside, so which could mean a potential and possible reversal as well. But if you take a look at the weekly, it also carries a pretty bearish look to it. Whole ribbon indicator turning red. You've got a pretty gnarly downtrend. You've also got a 200-day EMA lining up with my target of around $20 or $21. There's also a gap to fill, excuse me, on Macy's to the downside. I've kind of done some recollecting on some of the trades that we've taken, um, just particularly involving these gaps. And I'm gonna start trying to find gaps that are a little bit closer, and possibly even stick to like just day trading it. But the main thing here for Macy's that I want to point out is, one, we finished what appears to be, and isn't guaranteed, but appears to be a potential bear flag. So I am thinking that max pain is 25.88, maybe $26 at the most, which is where I'm anticipating Macy's to retest. So Macy's is still on the watch list, still very much bearish on this stock at the moment, with a gap to fill to the downside. You'll notice right here, I actually want to point you guys in the direction of this gap right here, where we ended up falling. We bounced, retested that resistance, and then ended up totally spilling. And it kind of looked a little bit like this. So I will be watching Macy's tomorrow, of course. And then let's see what's up, y'all. Can't forget about Lee Auto. So this one, they had delivery numbers. Now, this is where I have to admit, my bias got the best of me on Lee Auto. So just reflecting on my sentiment and my mistakes, I definitely pulled the trigger a little too fast, trying to take this one further to the downside. We got a really clean break out of this zone, but what I failed to acknowledge, I guess, was obviously the one thing that I preach the most about, is that we are always going to retest a level before we continue to the downside. And if we don't, then you can bet that that bounce back is going to be something worth watching for sure. So the level right now on Lee Auto and the targets that we're going to be playing to the upside are, and again, we're going to watch how we open up tomorrow. If we gap up and we're somewhere around 63, there's a gap immediately to 26.96. There's also a gap closing at 27.81. So there are upside targets, even ranging as far as $29, which $29, of course, is all the way back up into this zone. So unless we see a market-wide revival, I remain skeptical. But again, I have to obviously let the market tell me which direction that we are heading. So if you guys are on YouTube, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I know usually we're taking questions and stuff like that, but got to focus in on our Discord members. So I do appreciate you guys tuning in, leaving likes, and all that good stuff. We'll be back to normal, everything tomorrow morning, so feel free to stop by. Do I recommend watching the 1 hour chart? Absolutely. And I think it's something that on the small account is something that we're going to do more of for sure. So, all right. So anyway, we got Lee Auto covered. I think you guys kind of get the drift. This one definitely likely to go and retest as high as 27.75 if we do make our way back up there. You'll notice that the 200-day EMA kind of lagging. Every once in a while, when you get too far away from that moving average, you're bound to bounce. Got you. Yeah, definitely for sure. One more. So Disney. Disney has a sweet gap to the upside. As you guys well know, from today, this gap fills. This is actually probably not where I'm gonna like break risk management, but I'm gonna enter on the small account as much as risk management will allow. So I'm anticipating a push to 145. If we gap up, I'm out. are like, I would watch it either to pop and then possibly even fall from there. I wouldn't anticipate. I mean, if we gapped up there, we could see a strong move to the upside above 2%. But I would really prefer to open up below around 140, 150, and then continue to the upside so we can get a clean entry and enter those 147 contracts. So, all right. Last one that we're going to talk about is Apple. So, wow. Blown away. Um, Blown away. But what else do you expect from Apple here? So zooming in a little bit, I didn't see any targets to the upside as far as like um significant gaps or anything like that. But I do see Apple potentially, yeah, Apple, same here. I do potentially see a run up to around 177.33, but that might not come before a bit of a pullback. So we've had a strong move off of earnings, and we're up against a key resistance right now. We're up against 175. So above 175, I've got the level of 177. And then, of course, psychological number 180 would probably be the next step up. And this is really, really incredible. I will say that tomorrow, anywhere below 173, that's where things start looking a little correction like. And I'm wondering if we might actually be, because this is a bit extreme for a bull trap. As you guys can see, after pulling back here, Apple does give really, really strong consecutive moves, but also add earnings into the mix, and you can end up going into all-time highs. So, all right. Last one that we're going to talk about, because I've had a lot of people ask me. This one is also on the watch list for tomorrow. So I'm eager to take these gaps to the upside. What's up, guys? Eager to take these gaps to the upside. So we've got Neo with a gap, we've got Lee with a gap, and all of these are within our account size. Excuse me. Disney even has the gap. Macy's has the gap. So those are going to be on the or Disney. Yeah, Disney already got that one. So those are going to be on the watch list for tomorrow. But anyway, if you guys in the Discord have any requests, would like me to take a look at a stock or answer a question, please utilize this time to ask me those types of questions, so that way I can help you. If you have a question from today or whatever, let me know. So, so the first ones that we already got, as far as let's see, plug and fuel cell. So plug, oof, talk about bouncing off of the gap. Rough, right? For gap traders like us. That's the one thing, is sometimes gaps happen at supports. So now we got a gap. Now we got to start looking for rejection points on plug. So plug 2466 is where I am anticipating, and that's lining up with the 200-day EMA. But the bounce from today, unless we see an immediate reversal, and the first level that I see is 2285, that's the only place that I could visualize seeing plug power continue to move to the downside. I would like to point out on plug that the bounces on the downtrends, right here, this candle didn't finish very bullish, but they can be pretty substantial bounces. So oversold. And again, we talked about this today. We talked about the potential shorts covering from here to here, which on you guys remember well, I don't mean to make it sound like that, but I did call the plug top all the way from up here. So imagine there's some people probably taking profit because this thing has dumped really, really, really hard. So just some simple retest of levels like 2361 would likely be where I would be eyeballing plug power to retest, and if anything, potentially break to the upside. So doesn't look like there's any unfilled gaps on plug except for 42.80. Yeah, except for 42. I just did Lee Auto. If you guys want to go to the YouTube channel, you guys can recap over the stocks that I've been going over. So this is actually another gap, and I meant to, I don't know if you guys remember the projection that I was giving you guys the other day, but this one is another stock, and I'm gonna go ahead and write it down. So right now, you guys can go ahead and count me in for AMD, Lee, Neo, Disney, and Macy's as stocks that I'm going to be watching like a hawk. But I'm telling you guys right now that tomorrow I'm gonna try. I don't know if I'm going to be successful. So, if you want to rock with one of the other admins while I kind of warm up, if I don't see any small account gap trades, but I do see trades, I'll probably switch over to my big account. I'm going to try it. I've, in the past had different, luck with that, but we'll see what happens. But right now, AMD coming off of a ridiculous downtrend or pullback off of what appeared to be a pretty ugly double top. You hit a major support level there. That was really awesome. You guys can see right there, right off the dot, right off that $100 mark. Now retesting the 200-day EMA. And as you guys know, that's one of my favorite moving averages, and any time frame that it's on, it is a powerful moving average. You guys can see how it comes in and it supports the stock there, and how now it is now resisting the stock. The stock is touching. So I don't know if you guys remember when I explain EMA crossovers. So let's flip the chart really quick and let's invert it. So what do you guys, those of you guys in the Discord or whatever, what do you guys remember me talking about the most when it comes to EMA crossovers? And if I haven't said anything about it, here's your opportunity to learn. So an EMA crossover can occur when, and yes, it's the 50 and the 200. The 9-day moving average is the kicker. That's the one that, like, for the most part on the daily, an EMA crossover, I would like to see on the daily time frame. But one thing that we always know is that once it breaks, it's going to retest. It's like a magnet. Now, on this retest, you either break out, right, and continue to the upside, or in this case, the downside, or you fail that retest and you pull back. Now we have gaps that could attract, and also this is a key level, 118.70. So this key level, in combination, in combination with the gap, let's flip that. In combination with the gap, does set up for a potential reversal. I think if I go on the hourly, that was about it for the gaps. So I don't see any other gaps, but this is just from the double top, this is a major retest level, and one that you would expect to retest in a correction, bear market, or whatever. So again, I don't think we're necessarily out of the woods. I know that we're running into earnings. So again, this earnings season is going to be a big deciding factor in the trajectory of the market in general. So far we saw NXP doing well. So TDoc. Do you ever rest? No. I sleep as much as I need to. I sleep. I don't know what you're talking about. Yo, this is crazy. This is bonkers. Look at it. Look at the point of control coming in hot. Woo! All right. So, I don't think you're out of the woods. I think it's a trash can stock. R. Garcia. That's a great question. I'll answer that right after I cover T-Doc. So I think the 50 EMA. So watch 80. Watch 80, $80.75 for T-Doc if you are expecting any upside. Uh, if you can clear that level, then I'd say a $10 move into the 90s isn't outside of the question. And that's just using simple supply and demand. So we got a key level here, that's 90. We've got a key level here, that's $80. On the chart, it's going to come up as, I think, 8150, but right in this little level here, so 8150, 8075. That's going to be two levels to the upside. You're going to watch T-Doc, but I do know that they have earnings. I don't think that's correct. It might be, but yeah, I would be really looking into the fundamentals of this company because and I personally am not super bullish on them. Uh, guys, hop on the YouTube if you guys would like. So you did cross above your whole ribbon indicator. So I would say that it's probably within reason to move into the $90 level. So real quickly, I am exiting my positions too early and leaving a lot of money on the table today. I took 60 Apple 175, 110, and got out a few minutes later when it dipped a bit to 126, then watched it run up to 189. How do I fix this, or am I just learning to be patient? So one, the question there would be, what was your expiration? Because that's going to have a lot to do with whether you could have held. Two, did you have a plan if you're going to use that type of size? Did you have a plan to scale in? And that is probably with that type of size, something that you would and could possibly consider as a strategy or something to look into. If you're entering that type of size, there's no reason why you shouldn't have hotkeys, right? Hotkeys are essential to that process. So 2-4 expiration. So one, that's a lot of size. I don't know what your account size is, so that might be within your risk, but that is can cause an emotional reaction. I'll leave it at that. It is hard. I'm telling you guys, it is hard for somebody who cares about the money in their account to take a large size position in weeklies and then try to teach themselves to be patient. There's a reason why you're panicking. And there's a good reason, because your contracts are losing value. And that's why most people, including myself, have lost a lot of money utilizing weeklies when I know I shouldn't. Now, that's not to say that you aren't okay or don't have hotkeys. That's one, but you might have hotkeys and you might have like, it's set up so that you can enter and exit. But the second thing is if you are trading with that size and expiration, and you can handle that, or you're learning to handle it, scaling in on bounces is probably like today I watched Apple. And one thing that I noticed as it was trending to the upside, um, a crazy move, absolutely blown away. But um, the initial level that I had given for, so when I give you guys levels to the downside, like Apple needs to break 166.75 to go to the downside. If it doesn't, do you guys know the Red Rover example that I give you guys? That's where that comes into play. Does it have the volume to move to the downside? Well, that question is answered right there, where there's absolutely not great volume. Here, you see a slow windup. You guys know what I'm talking about, that slow windup volume, and then you just start screaming. Buyers are totally confident and reeled in completely into this trade. So if I had that size, this was the perfect opportunity to, rather than thinking, let me buy a breakout or whatever the case may be, it's rather like, where is the bounce going to happen, taking place at the bell and then waiting for a range. So this range right here for Apple could have given you an indication on where it could be heading. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to abide by orb. So okay, so this is actually, okay, so this is actually today. So there's today's level. So opening range breakout, what did we sit? We sat on top of, broke pre-market highs and retested, then is chopped for the whole day. And we talked about that chop today. So just in retrospect, regardless of what day, because I didn't realize that I was not on the right day, but let me go change this to regular hours. But regardless, like this situation, and even these situations right here, those are levels where you can use previous rejection levels, or like this is a 173.72. That level can be the level that you take the retest. So when it breaks out and pulls back, like right there, it doesn't reject, it doesn't flush, it holds up, and the volume continues to stay steady. So it lets you know that there's continuation to the upside. Another thing that you could also do is start moving out to the 15-minute time frame. That's going to cool your nerves off a little bit as well. So, but anyway, that's kind of how I would handle that. If I have 60 contracts of something, I'm looking for bounce levels. I'm looking for breaks. So the 9-day moving average is a bullish moving average. So when we climb above it, that's bullish. If I'm on the 15-minute and I climb above it, that's really bullish. If I climb above another moving average, which I have the whole ribbon here, that's bullish. So these are levels to potentially add, to this type of plays. So what would the best hotkeys? Just a stream deck is fine. Not a problem. Alex, so you asked me, how do I find my stop loss? So usually it goes about the same way that I just told you. So let's say that, and this is a perfect example, so we're going to zoom into it. So let's say that I signal, or I decide on this rejection here that I'm going to take Apple short. And I decide that this is my entry. Or these candles, see the bodies of these candles? I decide to take them at that level because we've already had 1, 2, and of course, holding up here, we've already seen 2 taps. So there's a chance that maybe it's going to go short. So I see the setup, I see the flag failing, and I decide I'm going to take it short there. So when it's going short, I have levels that I'm looking to take profit at, and I'm also looking, I'm not necessarily looking always for levels for profit, I'm looking at the levels for a bounce. Where are we going to bounce? And what are we looking for on that bounce? Obviously, little tweezers there. You immediately get this candlestick and it climbs right above the 9-day moving average. This level that I marked as support. So this zone, right? I can either say, and this depends on your expiration, right? I can say, all right, and for one, if you reclaim this level 167.75, and you open and close a candle 15 minutes inside of it, then the likelihood of a continuation of the upside increases a lot. Now that's this 167.75 level. If I was taking it short and I took it short 168, my stop loss would likely be the same level that held the stock up previously. So if the ceiling becomes the floor, or the floor right here becomes the ceiling, then the ceiling becomes my stop loss. Because I know that if buyers reclaim the same same level that the sellers pushed down, then I know that the likelihood of continuation to the upside increases because they're reclaiming a level that was lost. So hopefully that makes sense. Um, all right. Thoughts on a correction tomorrow as some of these stocks ran up so much today. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what a correction. And for those of you guys just tuning in, let me guys, I am just doing requests on Discord tonight, so I apologize, guys. I might stay after on TikTok, perhaps, but I'm gonna restart this. All right, there we go. So step out here. All right, corrections. What do they look like? Et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So take a look at this on Apple, or excuse me, on SPY, right? And I'm going to point you guys in this direction again. So those of you guys in the Discord, I know I showed this already, but here we are again. So as you notice on this market correction, I marked this out for this reason. This level, so just pretend with me, 405.50. Okay, let's pretend that's SPY. We bounce off that level, bad news hits, obviously at our key level as per usual, and then we dump, absolutely plummet, and we go down to 387. Holy shit, the market's going to keep dumping. Well, now everybody's climbing in heavy because the market's going to dump. And what does the market do when everybody thinks it's going to do that one thing? It does the fucking opposite. So we get a big ass retest, a big ass run up to 406. Now let's step back out. Let's take a look at SPY. Now let's delete all of these fancy moving averages. Let's delete my lines. And let's change these to a line. Now, how does it look? Can it be in a correction and we still rally up? 100%. 100%. So Do I know 100% or for sure if this is a market correction? Absolutely not. I do not. But I can tell you that if it was, this does fit in with the characteristics that I would be expecting from a market correction. This is one of the single like biggest losses that we've had in quite some time on SPY. And so to fall that hard in panic, so that's what we had was panic. Now we're getting kind of our wits about us. If any disruptive news, which we have, right? Any disruptive news occurs, then yes. Okay, I fail to believe that Apple is the only reason that SPY is moving up. But even I get it, Apple's a lot. But the SPY, in my opinion, could go and fill levels. And let's go ahead and get it back to my speed. So the one thing that I want to point out on this potential correction is that we have a gap to fill at 464.50, and very rarely does SPY leave upside gaps undone. So I believe that Apple, Google, PayPal, all of these stocks are going to send the stock market, at least this week, possibly up maybe into the 465. And I said this and I kind of failed to actually do it or talk about or trade it, but this actually was a perfect pennant breakout. You've got 1, 2, 3, beautiful setup there, nice crossover to the upside. So the first immediate target is going to be 455. And Jake from State Farm, nice. And Manny mentioned something here about how jumpy these stocks are, or how jumpy the cues are. So you guys take a look at this. Look at the big ass bounce. Okay, so relative to the distance traveled, right? From this dump to this high, right? I would say let's measure it. Let's do a rough measurement from this high to that low. So just looking at it, just off of my eyes, I would say that's almost dead center 50%. Now let's just take it down lower and see what happens. So we get it down a little bit lower. Now 50% is probably going to be right about there. Ooh, I'm on the cues. Excuse me. Sorry. Did I say SPY? 375, which just so happens to be a major resistance. So I think that we have levels like 366.65 and 375 to push us to the upside. But again, we got to take every day and digest it one thing at a time. So um, I might be able to take some requests, guys, but I'm just talking to Discord tonight. So your throat is dying. I'm sorry. Is that I don't I hope I'm not bothering you guys. I don't think water's gonna do it. I talk a lot. A lot. I even talk shit on Oculus sometimes too. I'm just kidding. Well, maybe not. So oh no. Our table. Oh, you're good, dude. You guys are good. No offense taken or anything like that. This man said, "Why am I losing money? Please help by sending me money." That's pretty funny. All right. So hopefully these questions have been answered or help. So Starbucks, that was the next one. Starbucks has a gap to hold on a second. Huh. Sorry, I just spotted a gap on Snapchat. I gotta go mark it like a dog. All right, Starbucks. So Starbucks has a gap to $100. I also would like to just remind you that earnings are tomorrow, right? Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so they are tomorrow. That's where I would be looking to potentially move up to. But if you're looking at earnings and you're looking at a play on earnings, and I know everybody's going to be looking at me for a play on earnings, but here's the thing: if supply chain issues have hit Starbucks or whatever the case may be, that's probably priced in because this thing is absolutely dumped and really is at a place where this is supply and demand at its best. The point of control, I have 99 and $100. If we cross above that, we've got a plethora of gaps to the upside that we can start looking to take advantage of for what could even be a retest as high as 106. So Dad, what's up, heck? Um, Thoughts on UPS? Oh my bad. I do not play oil ERs ever. There's usually not enough movement. Um, and UPS, I'd have to go and look at it, but I have not had the best of luck on UPS earnings. I wonder if the holiday season might catch up. That data right there might catch up, and you might see a little bit better earnings than usual. So, yeah, I am on YouTube right now. So. Um, so this is Hut mining, you said? All right, so let's get a really nice downtrend forming here. Beautiful. I just called a downtrend beautiful. I've lost it. I've lost it. All right. So yeah, all right, we'll give it to you. All right, so this is a standard deviation channel without even looking at it. I can tell you right now, this is just your trend at the moment, and you're really at a setup right now where it's time to shine for Hut because you're going to break downtrend, and that's going to be confirmed with a break above $6.15. Hopefully, with some volume. Obviously, crypto needs to should feel compelled, should move up to the upside. So I'd be watching levels like 645. But ultimately, I'd be watching for I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. The trend is terrible, and I have no clue what these people do as far as you know. I know that they're mining crypto, but that's about it. I don't know anything about them. There's a gap way up there at 847, and as high as 1176. But I don't think until we see crypto actually take a leg up are we going to see Hut. But this one is drastically oversold. I think the bears have kind of had their way with this stock, and then at this point, yeah, it looks pretty good. I mean, 610 and 625 are key levels. You got the point of control at 650 as expected. So, but yeah, this one's got a decent downtrend here. I'd wait for that breaking downtrend. Make sure you have your key levels set up. And if you want to, just you could take a long dated call, based on the gap fill. But I personally stay away from crypto stuff right now. So if I could do it in depth on SPY, so I'm gonna give you my honest feedback here, just like I did with the cues and everything else. Um, and hopefully I've answered a few of what you were already wondering about, as I've answered these questions. Um, but on a correction or any type of retest, you can expect a pretty decent and substantial retest. And that being said, we know for certain that there is a gap to fill to the upside. And this gap fills right around the 463.50. So I'm just gonna draw something for you guys, and it's not 1,001. It's not accurate, but it's just an idea of the price action that I am anticipating, because I don't think that this is going to end up being an automatic, thing where we just end up breaking to the upside and just ripping. I was wrong today. I will be continue to have moments where I am wrong tomorrow, but in this case on SPY, I really think that this gap does get filled. But what this refill on the gap does, it also brings us to the point where we are retesting the same dynamic trend line that we broke. And on a correction, that is oftentimes what we see. So if the faster we go up, the worse this gets. And I could see, I mean, I'm not going to go as far as to say that this is the absolute trend, but I did spot this downtrend here that kind of lines up with this gap. So if that does happen, I mean, we're going to be in a tough spot. But I mean, it's hard to really understand sometimes why the market, even though this is what it's designed for, but sometimes even when it feels like it shouldn't, it does. So we do have that target to the upside, and we will be watching for that one. So I do think we're going to see a bit of a run up. You'll see that consolidation up here. Don't expect to just break through that, but we could see that gap fill to the upside. So that's the hourly on the VIX, and I can't chart the daily. You can't chart the daily. There's no way. I'm going to read this out loud. I won't say your name just for your privacy's sake, but I'd like to short-term swing trade anywhere from a day or week or two. I have this trading setup where I enter at the cross of the 20 EMA on the daily chart, and I would use a DMI ADX indicator to confirm trends. I would use the 5-minute chart to get in at a supply and demand levels, but now I'm trying to base off of price action within the supply and demand levels on day chart and viewing them on the 1-hour chart to make better decisions. I'm not really sure which one to stick to. Which one, in your opinion, is a better choice, or should I even be wasting my time with either of those? I'm really struggling to figure out my trading strategy. Do you possibly even know a better strategy for how I like to trade? I'm currently very lost, and I'm really hoping that joining Simple Stacks will help me figure this out. Well, first off, any EMA crossover, it for me has always been a key indicator. Now, if you're short swing trading, that's probably one of my favorite things to do. One of the things that I look for is key level breaks and retest. So the EMA crossover can happen on any time frame, and obviously I think I don't actually think that it's a terrible idea to maybe, and I know this sounds outlandish, but to look at the both. Look at them and see if there's a possibility that they work together. The reason that I say that is I don't primarily use just one thing to get into a trade. If another indicator that maybe I'm not using is firing off the same signal, or showing me the same trend, then that's only going to add to my sentiment. So if the price action is high or is fast or whatever you're looking for, you got strong orders, and you're breaking out of a demand zone, and you're looking to take a position for a short swing, and you've got a nice hourly bounce off of whatever trend line, and your EMA is crossing over like you like, then that's only extra verification. If you found success with each one of them, then see what happens if you use them together. I'm always looking to learn. I'm different. You know, some people find what they like and they stop. They know how to trade that, just that. I am kind of experimental when it comes to at least just trying something out, just because oftentimes that's where I found the most success. So, um, anytime a stock closes above a key level, that's also room for me to take it to the upside for a swing. So key breaks and downtrend, um, support bounces. So if you have identified support bounces and you see, one thing that I usually and other people do this as well, a bullish hourly close above VWAP and the 9-day moving average is oftentimes good for a short swing. So, but we can talk more about that in the future, and hopefully that answers your question a little bit. Okay, so Visa, I think Heck is in this one. This one I didn't really dig this whole number that it pulled off. This candlestick in itself is obviously more bullish than bearish. You got a really nice bounce, but you still had an inside day. The good thing about that is that Visa actually has a gap, and I talked about that yesterday. Visa is, and I forgot, that's another one that's going to be on the watch list because this one actually does have, and we need to find contracts for each one of these companies, and we'll do that probably tomorrow morning. We'll find one for Lee, Neo, Disney, Macy's, A&V, and Visa. But this is actually really neat because you can use the previous high of day, 228, as a potential entry for the next fill in the gap. There's a level of 230 immediately to the upside that you could potentially see a small rejection. But ultimately, I think that 231.50 is where that gap fills. It looks like earnings, the trajectory is sending it in the correct direction. You got gaps to the upside, but I still could see Visa actually making its way to the upside. So this just looks like the way that Juniper trades. Tends to have these really ugly. I've never traded this before, but I've watched it. Juniper Networks, based off of previous trends that I've seen, we are on the same page for Visa. I'm looking to play the break of the inside bar tomorrow at the top of Friday's high into the gap. Amazing. Good plan. Sounds like you're heading in the right direction with that trade. So awesome. Um, Juniper Network retesting levels like 32.25 and then giving you a really strong bounce to the upside. 35.62. I can't tell you exactly where this. I have no idea how this thing trades and where it's been before. But I will say that levels like $37, I would look at the 44s and $40 level because that's the nearest resistance that I can spot for Juniper at the moment. So you could use pivot points if you wanted to, because it looks like the next pivot is $40. So I'm kind of on the money with that one as far as target wise. But yeah, so $40 to the upside over the break. Uh, it's like you got a weekly doji and you're up against the doji top. That's 180 69.50. doesn't look bad to go for a retest. You've got 1 point move on Jupiter weekly is 100. Are you serious? Damn, that sounds lucrative. I could see you up around 185 on mRNA. All right, it is 9:16, everybody. It's been about an hour now. Looks like I got everything from the Discord. All right, let's take a look at Marvel. All right, so just like most stocks, this one has broken down to the 200-day EMA, major moving average on the daily time frame. It is also, and I'm using this zone over here, it is also broken through and back above this zone. 72.13 is a potential entry for a level or for a test of 73.50 and then potentially 75.55 for what I would ultimately believe to be is just a simple retest. Let me point you in the direction of this. So watch for the rejection at 72.25. Otherwise, you could see levels like 73.75 and $75 tested. So all right. Phone's about to die. Alrighty, guys. Hopefully I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. But I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. Hopefully you guys had a good day. If you didn't have a good day, we're gonna try and come out swinging tomorrow, guys. Keep your chin up if you're having a rough time. Um, just keep practicing. These bad times, they pass. These obstacles become clearer and easier to navigate through. Nothing is easy, and we're also in a tough time to trade. So we're going to stick to the lakes and the rivers that we're used to, and go from there. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful evening. Get some good rest. I'll see you guys in the morning. Keep chin ups. For those of you guys, I see a couple people who DM'd me about being red today. So just keep your chin up and keep pushing, keep learning, reflect on those mistakes, and get excited about that. The fact that you're able to identify your mistakes. If you're able to identify your mistakes, you're doing better than most. And I promise you that most people don't want to admit that they're wrong or won't admit it and therefore continue to lose. So good job for digging your nose in, whatever. What is the saying? Yeah. And going for it. So have a good night, guys. No, Adrian, we don't do that. That's the worst thing you could ever do.